I'm a watcher of the YouTube channel Deep Focus Lens. The hostess of that channel is a very intelligent and astute uh, reviewer of or person who analyzes movies, a true cinephile. Um, and I'm always interested in what she has to say about various things about movies and so forth, even though sometimes I agree and other times I do not so much agree. But I always respect her opinions on things. And recently, she gave a surprise review of the 1995 Paul Verhoeven directed movie Showgirls. Now, those of you who don't know about Showgirls, um, this movie was considered legendarily bad. It was first of all controversial because I believe it was rated NC-17 at the time. One of the few movies ever to get that rating, and that made it so that its release was you wouldn't be able to find it in as many places because there were some communities that just would not carry NC-17 movies. And I don't think there's been an NC-17 movie since, I guess, the Serbian movie, which I haven't seen and I have no plans on seeing. I guess that maybe what I heard was that the cut version, the version of that movie that was that where they trimmed it down a little bit, trimmed down some of the disturbing scenes, some of the gore, some of the awfulness. That got an NC-17 rating, but that the main version is unrated. And maybe there are some other examples of movies that got slapped with NC-17s, but I'm just not aware of. But it seems like Showgirls may have been one of the last to get that rating. I remember it was something a new rating that came out in the 90s when they were concerned about movies that seemed like they were a little like hard R movies, not to be confused with the hard R when you say a certain word. But movies that were hard R in the sense that they were rated R, but they went well beyond what most R-rated movies show, whether it was sex or gore or violence or whatever. So Showgirls got slapped with the NC-17 rating, and so it was controversial at first in that regard. And then when it came out, everyone made fun of it because it was well, awful, or so it would appear. Now, interestingly, today, or not so much today, but around today in the last maybe few years, there's been an effort on the part of some cinephiles to re-examine Showgirls and see it as a misunderstood masterpiece of sorts. And I was quite interested that Deep Focus Lens had that sort of analysis of Showgirls. And if I can summarize what she had to say about it, uh, um, she was saying that yes, all of the things, all of the excesses, all of the really beyond campy moments, the lines of what seemed like terrible dialogue, just the overall craziness of the movie. That there was a method to the madness, and that she didn't in fact didn't see it as a movie that was so bad that it's good or anything like that, but she saw it as a true. I don't remember the term that she used. maybe a masterpiece. I don't know. Maybe it was something along those lines. Now, I was willing to give. I was interested enough in Deep Focus Lenses review that I decided, well, why not watch it again? I remember watching it back in 1995 and just not thinking that much of it really, except that it just seemed like there was a hell of a lot of nudity and a lot of simulated sex scenes, and it was just really over the top, and so forth. But at the same time, I like Paul Verhoeven. Now, the Paul Verhoeven period that I'm most familiar with is not the films that he made, in Dutch, but his American films, the science fiction trilogy, Total Recall, and the other ones. Uh, and of course RoboCop and Starship Troopers. I think of all of those movies as really good movies, but on the other hand, they are cheesily made. I think intentionally cheesily made in a lot of ways, and there are a lot of moments of dialogue that seem like kind of cheesy, but it's like I think that Verhoeven is in on the joke, and it's something that he's doing intentionally. But I also think those movies succeed, just as being rollicking, science fiction, adventure stories or stories of redemption, stories of, a world at war, um, you know, and then so forth. In the midst of all of the weirdness, what's the name of the creature that the wise Yoda-like creature that comes, that I think manifests in somebody's stomach or somebody's back or something like that. There's lots of weird stuff in these movies, but I think they're good. And I would say the same about Basic Instinct, which was a very controversial movie at the time and would be even more controversial today, in the woke age. But even at the time, people were saying it was homophobic and so forth, because it portrayed a bisexual, a remorseless woman who's bisexual, who commits murder, and so forth. And I think that it was another movie that garnered some controversy. This time, from the left. I think that Showgirls maybe got more controversy from conservatives. But in any case, I think Verhoeven is somebody who knows what he's doing. He's a craftsman, and he's got there's a method to his madness. So I watched Showgirls again, and honestly, y'all, I don't know. I'm still not sold. Okay, I'm willing to be open to the possibility that I'm missing things. And again, watch Deep Focus Lenses review, and I think there are some other places on YouTube where the movie's gotten quote unquote re-examined, and people are saying no, it's actually really good, and it was misunderstood. What can I say about it though? Gosh. I mean, you can say that it's a movie about, it looks at showbiz and the sleaze behind showbiz, specifically in the Las Vegas scene, and it shows the backstabbing that goes on and how you have to sell your soul to succeed. all of that, all of those that are all those things that are kind of tropes, of this type of movie, but this time with just almost nonstop nudity. I mean, you really see a lot. You see a ton in this movie, and yet I wouldn't say it's like a. I wouldn't say it's an incredibly erotic experience to watch. Um, to me, the all of the dance numbers and even like the famous or infamous pool copulation scene. They just, I don't know, they don't come to mind to me in any kind of erotic way. I'm not sure why that is, and maybe other people are different in that regard. You see a lot of breasts. I mean, if you're a fan of breasts, you're probably gonna like this movie, or at least like that facet of this movie, because I don't think there is a female character whose breasts we don't see, and that we don't see a lot of. so so it's got that going for it. Um, but ultimately, I don't know. Like there, like this ability, this effort to rehabilitate Showgirls and to say no, it's actually really good. It's actually intricately made, and there's all this stuff going on, and you just have to pay attention to it, and the you have to see beyond the cheese. You have to see beyond what's the seemingly terrible lines. Some of the lines are quite memorable, like where a Japanese tourist, a Vegas tourist in a strip bar, says something like, In America, everyone is a gynecologist. It's just like, what? And there are some scenes that are actually genuinely funny, but there are a lot more where it's just sort of like, what's going on here? It's also the film is kind of a headache to watch. Um, what's her name? Elizabeth, the head of the class girl, who really, she went out on a limb with this movie. She went in a totally different direction. And unfortunately, I guess she was blackballed, or her career sort of came. I'm told, or I've read, that her career kind of came to an end after this movie came out. I mean, her character is really annoying. She's very attractive, and yes, you see a lot of her breasts, but and you see her dancing sexily a lot, but she's just she's extremely shrill, and she's like a brat, um, and it's like everybody, like there's so much overacting in this movie, and there's no effort to really rein it in. And again, Verhoeven might have been up to something with all of this, because I do think the rest of the Verhoeven canon that I'm aware of, all of his American-made movies, all of his English-speaking movies, with excepting Showgirls, I would say that they were all artfully made. Even if some of them, even if the tastefulness maybe wasn't necessarily there, but the lack of tastefulness is, I think, a part of that's part of the deal. That's what it's all about. But in Showgirls, it just seems to get ratcheted up to new extremes, and it sort of asks for more of you. The other movies ask for you to suspend your disbelief or suspend your critical faculties in certain ways. But the rest of the movie delivers in a way that's like I still think Total Recall, the plot is just really cool, even if there's a lot of things about it that were completely unscientific or whatever. The whole blue skies on Mars thing, and I've said before, maybe that movie seemed to be like have certain esoteric qualities. Looking back on it now, as with a different pair of eyes. But I don't know with Showgirls. I can be convinced, but I just don't know. So that's my sort of review of Showgirls, and if you want to convince me one way or the other, then leave your comment below. And thank you for watching.